yesterday we were talking about, today we're not going to do much groundwork, we're just going to ride him from the get-go. I'll check him out loose again maybe in a day or two, but again he gets pretty tight, but we want to keep it kind of easy today. But we were talking yesterday, love is patient, and so today, this video a little bit, I wanted to talk about, I did another video with a friend, but unfortunately we didn't get all of it. Gotta wait on video, but love is kind. And again, the plan is to just ride him. He's got a little bit of a kink there, a little bit of an eggshell feel, so we're going to go kind of slow. I don't want to sneak. I'm not trying to sneak a ride on him, so I don't want him to get worried here about stuff. But I'd like to get a little ride before we do much. But love is kind. So I guess on this one video, normally I don't care if you complain, but on this one, just be kind. I guess in the comments, if you comment, just find a kind word to say. And I think that's one thing that's missed a lot. You know, a lot of times we're quick in conversation to reply, rebut, criticize. Some of that's society. I don't mind. It helps a person grow. Does hurt one's feelings, but hey, I'm probably my worst critic anyways. And the two guys that I thought most of in life, Ray Hunt and Buck Brannaman, another fella named Ray Harmon, Bill Dorrance, they liked what I was doing, and they were some of the greatest mentors I ever have. And I don't say that lightly. The experience they had and the things they could do were just incredible. But in horsemanship, since we're relating it to horsemanship is kind. And that's the difference kind of between, to me, teaching, which is more what we're trying to do, versus training, which is a little more drill instructorish. So I'm looking for that softness, but by no means is kindness always meekness. You have to be firm on barriers and not let push through. And it's just like your heart. Your heart's purpose is to pump blood through the body, but there's boundaries and there's barriers, and the same is in riding. And so I want to use those boundaries and barriers to help the horse. But I'm always trying to build up, not tear down. Build up the horse, build up my students. Sometimes when you get to teaching, there's a lot of do this, do that, do this. Oh, harm's here. Maybe try this a little bit. And it can be a little hard. So you just need to take some time out and not just be kind to others, but also be kind to yourself. It's not an easy task, and it takes years of working at. It does get easy over time, but easy would imply that I'm there. So it's sure easier, but I'm glad I didn't know what it was going to take. But I just wanted to talk a little bit today about riding those haunches in a little bit. So again, he hasn't been warmed up, and yesterday he hadn't been rode at all. I didn't ride him much longer than the video because I was pretty happy with where he was at. But I just want him to work at it because it's kind of one of the holes. He's done some flying changes, but they're really crude, really fast. So one of the first things that I always say is when my leg comes on, a lot of times people really want to lead with this shoulder. And that's great in the beginning, and I will use some of that for my haunches in down the road. But I don't want to get in the habit of always leg yielding and leading that shoulder. So I might try to get that hind to lead and keep them a little straighter. And before I'm really going to work a lot on haunches in, I'm going to try to get that leg yield where I can go from hindquarters leading to both ends equal to shoulder leading, to both ends equal, to hindquarters leading on that. Now as I go on this greener horse, sometimes get where maybe the camera can see, and he doesn't want to get his hindquarters over, so it might be kind of a kick, kick, kick. So I might even have to come in with my crop and say, hey, step your butt over there. Get your hind there in front of that shoulder a little bit. Reach a little deeper with that. So I know we'd started just a little bit on the haunches in because he was kind of there is pretty good. Going shoulder, leading with that shoulder so much. And it's not that I wouldn't ask, but really the things that are going to get the haunches in good are him being able to lead with this hip a little. And then if he dies out, I'm going to liven him up. And if he pushes through my hand, then I'll come in with that right rein and say, hey, step that hip over. But then that has to bend him a little bit again. And I'm trying to get him pretty straight there to lead that hind before I start the haunches in, or the half pass, if you will. So I'll work on that a bunch. And again, if he's struggling, one of the kindest, oh, that was really nice. I didn't have to help much there. So I'm operating him a little more like a wheelbarrow. This right leg's a little stickier. There we go. Good. And we'll try to move the haunches in left. Get off my leg. I had to firm up a little. Haunches in left. Good. Now I'm going to push the shoulder out a little bit. Good. And I kind of open this a little bit with my inside leg there, as you can see. I'm going to ride towards the camera. Haunches right. And then I'm going to try to push that shoulder a little bit too in that. Good. And I want to work, I just wanted to show a little bit of, while I was working, not just haunches in, but I want to be able to move that shoulder a little bit too out. So that, say when they get to changing leads, they're not wanting to lead too much with that shoulder. I can push that hip over and still maintain some control of the shoulder. So I'm constantly, again, back to my foundation, working at riding both ends. I'll push him over. I want the hip to lead a little bit there. Shoulder to catch up. Shoulder to lead. And I'm trying not to go through softness to hardness. I'm trying to not lose too much life in that. If I do lose life, then I might have to go back to my bat wings like we talked about before. Sit down and ride. Again, I want that life to be coming from my energy, from my seat, from me leading that dance. Not because I had to kick him up there, because my legs are going to be used to put him in position in other areas. So if I'm still having to kick with both legs just to get him to go, it's going to be really hard to shape that body with my legs. And again, my legs and feet are just as important as my arms and hands. I'll say that again, maybe even more so. My legs and feet are more so, I'll change it, important than my arms and hands. Without my legs, I don't get to go very far. If I can't go, I can't steer. But when I say legs, I don't mean just legs, though. I could have crops here, my driving device, my energy device. But I also use them more than just driving device. We're going to move the shoulder out, move the hip in. Good. And I don't try to hold it for too long, because then that would kill some life. That's good, just the word life. And he's like, okay, let's pick up the energy a little bit. Good. There's the hip. Good. Push that shoulder out. Good. And again, I'll show it once. I wish I had a crop, but I do have my McCarty here somewhere. I might move his hip over. There's the hip. And then finish soften with one hand. But if I do some of that, then I'm going to come back and do some swinging it so he doesn't think I'm always going to tap him with the base of that. There he got a little crooked, so I wait and soften with my hands. Soften with my hands. Push. I want that hip in just a little more, so I'm going to help him with my crop here, not your shoulder. Not your shoulder, your hip. Just keep working back and forth, fixing each little piece. There's a try. Good. And I don't kill him for it, but I need him to work at it. Now my leg drops back. There, good. He felt off my leg. My leg drops back. No, not your shoulder in. There you go, your hip in. That's it. Good. Now again, if I've done some of that and needed that crop, if I was on this side, I always have my last rope here. If I need it, I could pull that tail out. There, step your hip over, but then he got crooked, so I'm going to finish, soften on that left rein. There, haunches left, soften on that left rein. But if I do some driving on that stuff with my McCarty, I'd like to finish off my ride doing a little bit of roping, so that he's not kind of walking off. And again, for me, that's key. I told you before, he was kind of a team roping horse, so kind of all tangled up, so maybe we get to coil it up. Stuck in a suitcase for too long. But either way, give me a chance to do some stuff other than driving him, basically, where he has to learn to wait. And again, yesterday's was patience, and that's hard for this horse. So for him to just sit here while I coil and rope, he gets pretty impatient. See him look right and left like, come on, let's go do something. Let's go chase something. And yeah, it's working cows I don't chase. I work, I might drive, I might block, but I don't chase. And I wanna, this isn't the best roping dummy, but works pretty good, but I just wanna work at him being okay about walking and roping. Lay that in there. Good. Stop the shoulder, roll the hind. Good. And see, that's that same hindquarter work with whatever I'm doing. We might do a hip shot, but he's being pretty patient there, so I'm not going to stay roping for hours on the camera. But again, I just wanted to kind of show that balance to me between driving. If I have to do a bunch of driving with my rope because I like to rope so much, I want to make sure that I finish with the roping. Again, maybe my header's going to pull him a little straight, so I'm going to straighten that hip even with the cow. Good. Soften on back. Fix my reins. Maybe we take one little, maybe we change it. Maybe we take an imaginary headshot there. See, all this stuff is good. Probably needed a head, sort of a tropical delusion there. anyways, I hope those few little pieces give you some advice, and when you're looking at people, come on, need you to soften there. There you go. Good. When you're watching for people, I mean, to me, teachers should be the same with their students. And I wish sometimes, I think people get frustrated. I truly do love all my students, and if you're there trying, it's great. But there's some people that are just not kind out there, and I'd like to think I'd try to treat humans the way I would people, and really be supportive. For me, I've said it before, I'll say it again, one of the worst things I see in students of all kinds is a lack of faith in themselves. And some of you, I'm going to look at you directly. You know it. I know you're good. And you just have to believe in yourself. And I hear people, they want you to pick at them, and it's a lot like Tom and Bill used to say, you know. If you just kind of focus a lot on the positive things and ignore a lot of the negative things, it'll be a much better journey. They didn't say journey, but it'll be much better for you. And then pretty soon the negative things will just go away, and the things that you encourage will be there more. So encourage that kindness. Be kind to one another. Make sure you enjoy the journey. Don't be fake about it, but share your story. And say a few kind things to people this week. That's my challenge for you. Enjoy the journey. Thanks for watching. Happy trails.